found our way home. Through the whispers of doubt, we learn to stand. With a love so bright, we've walked hand in hand. You crack the walls with your laughter so free. I'm the strength in the storms, we're a symphony. With every step we rise above the pain, breaking generational chains. We're born again. We're the fire lighting up the night. Together we shine. It's our hearts in flight. With notes to self, we're writing our song. In this world of chaos, we know where we belong. Oh, we're changing lives, breaking through the fear. A power couple, together we're here. From the ashes of yesterday, we draw our strength. With courage as our armor, we'll go any length. You remind me of the light when the darkness creeps. In your eyes there's a promise, a love that deeply keeps. No more chains can bind us, we've learned to heal. In the depths of our hearts lies the power we feel. We're shining the truth, letting the world see. Together, forever, just you and me. We're the fire, lighting up the night. Together we shine, it's our hearts in flight. With notes to self, we're writing our song. In this world of chaos, we know where we belong. Oh, we're changing lives, breaking through the fear. A power couple, together we're here.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Hi guys.
Corey's jumping in
Welcome.
at the last minute. How's it? Hopefully everybody's having a great week. How's your week going?
So amazing. So just out working again. So been showing tons of houses. So yeah, it's been a great week so far.
Yeah.
So somebody asked up there about addictions. Awesome. Yes, it is. So there's a couple different ways. First, we kind of you kind of want to recognize that the addiction's causing
What did you say
problems in your life.
about
It was
addictions?
one of up at the top. So
Oh, I missed that one. Keep going.
nope. So addictions, if it's not serving you very well, there's a couple different routes. I think we've done plant medicine that's helped take away some, and then hypnotherapy. Go in with the intention to see where that addiction started, and start to work through hypnotherapy, changing the
Can't hear ya.
plan. So hello. Is it just because I'm doing it quiet?
Yeah, you're talking pretty quiet.
Okay. I'll talk right into the mic. I'm up in the. I'll turn it.
Great. So again, we're not doctors,
Yeah,
professionals in any way. We are just
what's worked for us or worked for me. So
yeah.
So, yep.
Let's see what is happening.
Yeah, I would say that probably in my 20s, coming out of the cult and being kind of out on my own, I was like, what the heck? I'm addicted. I have alcohol, so alcohol addiction. And so I really kind of quit for a long time because of my early 20s. So
Our chat's not connecting for some reason.
probably because we're on both.
Yeah. No, last week it did. So yeah, I would
Okay.
definitely get help from a professional on that because again, we're not professionals. Just some of the plant medicines that we've done, ayahuasca is supposed to be really great for addictions.
There are other ones too.
Yeah, that are
so
supposed to be really
check
good for addictions. I would just check with a health
your
care provider
therapist or
for
your
sure.
healthcare provider, see which
Right.
one will work
Yeah.
for which addiction you have. So
Your sister says to use your big boy voice.
hello, everybody.
Yeah, I wanted to thank all of our members for being on here. Thank you guys so much too. Last week's live, I think it's our first video that we have posted in, maybe 2 months that hasn't been flagged. So thank you guys.
There you go.
Um,
I'm talking too much. Now speak.
That's funny.
I love it.
That's funny.
See, I love that our followers have such a great sense of humor. So it's
yeah,
amazing.
I don't know why we're not connecting to the chat. So we're not connecting to the chat, so I can't put your comments up on the screen.
Sure.
For some reason.
Rebecca Wheatley says, why does Corey call your dad the PSR?
I was just going to answer that one.
So, well, because in the AUB, when somebody makes it all the way to the top of the leadership position, they call them the prophet, the seer, and the revelator, named after Joseph Smith. And so I just shortened it up for him, the PSR. So he's the leader of the AUB group, and so I just shorten it up, make it quick and easy, so that his followers don't have to be long-winded when they're talking to him.
He's pretty long-winded himself. That's where I get it from. If all you guys want to know where I get my long-windedness, it's definitely from my dad. Wanted to say thank you to all of our followers or all of our members who are on here today. Thank you so much. We see so many of you guys on here today, and I'm sorry I can't put any of your comments on the screen. I don't know why our live didn't connect our chat, but for some reason it did not. So, somebody had a question that somebody over on our Spotify channel. So if you guys are not aware, we are on Spotify too. And someone on our Spotify channel asked how my dad became the prophet when he was a convert. And my dad converted when he was 14 years old. So he didn't become the prophet till he was 69. So he had a lot of years to work his way up the ranks there.
And it helped that his mother ended up
marrying the previous prophet. Yeah.
Previous prophet. And so,
and he was sealed as a child to the previous prophet, Owen Allred.
And when you get in good ranks with the prophet, and you've got a son that's cruising up, or that's gets put on the council because to please his mom, then you make it through and then once you get on the council, then it's just waiting to hopefully get your turn, that you outlive all the other council members, and that previous prophets don't accidentally skip over you and assign younger council members underneath you. So
yeah.
And the PSR just before him actually passed away a lot earlier than he thought he was going to pass away. And so he didn't go to the Lord and find out who was next in line. So once nobody had been assigned to be in line, then it came down to the next senior worthy apostle. All the other guys sat around and voted on it. So and said, yep, we'll let him be the new leader. So
that's funny. So that's pretty much how my dad, supposed to go in seniority. My dad just happened to be the next senior.
That is awesome.
I love this. So Blessed Canadian says, my 32-year-old son and I both read the 4 agreements and then discussed each chapter. We are both working on breaking the generational traumas of our family.
Yeah.
I love that for you so much. That is amazing. The first time that Corey read it, our daughter read it with him too.
Mhm.
And they were able to do some of the same. And it was right in when we were getting divorced. And so it was really healing, I think, for both of you guys, huh?
Yeah. And the interesting part is that as I was reading through it, it actually was healing a lot of the stuff that I grew up with.
Yeah.
So a lot of the patterns that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is why it was so miserable to try to communicate when we were children, because there was no clean, clear communication. Keeping your word, any of that didn't matter in our growing up in the AUB. So.
Keeping your word was probably one of the one things that we never saw. I never saw it in my lifetime. It was very easy for children to watch a lot of lying, coercion, that kind of stuff. But thank you so much, Debbie Taylor, 4840. Thank you so much for that super chat. We really appreciate that. She says, I love to listen to both of you. Thank you. One of the things I wanted to talk about today too is just how I've been reflecting a lot over the last few months, last few weeks, about where our lives were 10 years ago and where we are now. And I just really wanted to talk about how we're in such a totally different place now and how grateful I am. And I really wanted to kind of navigate back to giving people who might still be in the AUB or in high demand religion of any kind, maybe just a little bit more hope, because we've been talking about some pretty heavy subjects lately. And really, I was telling this, we were talking about this the other day. Remember, I was saying how 10 years ago, I wanted what we have together as partners, as married people, and as grandparents. I wanted that so bad, and I did not see a path to get to that, because here we were freshly going through our divorce. So for those of you that don't know, we were divorced in 2016. We got remarried in 2018. And so in that 2-year period, we did a ton of healing. And in our divorce, we realized, when we got to the point of getting divorced, we realized we just had so many old patterns that we both were playing out, things that we were taught in the religion that we grew up in. And we didn't know how to break those. And we were on automatic, and we were playing these automatically through our life. And it was hard to even see that we had these patterns, right? And every day was hard. Every day was just like, I don't know if you remember, I'd wake up and I'd be like, oh my gosh, another day. I don't want to do this anymore. And now I feel like one of the things that we say all the time now is our hard times are just moments. It's not our life anymore. They're just moments that we have. And our overall life is happy. And I feel like when you get to the point where you've healed through some of the things, and it's funny because you read all those memes online that say, your worst day is somebody's best day. Your people look at you and wish that they had what you have, or whatever, those types of memes. And it's hard to know if you'll ever get to a place where you live in most more peace than not. And I feel like we're at that point right now where we have our moments, and we can look at them as just moments. It takes the shame out of having some of those hard days, because this isn't our overall life. This is just something we're going through right now. And I just got done reading The Untethered Soul again. I'm halfway through it again because I just feel like I wanted to read it twice. And that's one of they call them the sakara, when an energy comes through you, whether it's positive or negative, and it gets stuck in your body. And then you later on remember it and have to process through it at a later point in time. And I feel like, yeah, we're at that point now where Now it can be a positive emotion, it can be a negative emotion, anything that just comes into your body and then gets stuck. And then at a later time, something triggers it, you think about it or you remember it, and then you have a healing process to do over it. Or you become clingy because it was a happy moment and you wanted it to last forever, whatever it is. So I feel like that we're in that place right now. And so I just really want to give a shout out of hope. If you are in a situation right now where it feels hopeless to you, or it feels daunting, or you feel like you have a long road ahead of you to change from where you are to where you want to be, it is possible. It is very possible. And it definitely can take some work on your part. It's not that it's always going to be easy, but it is absolutely possible. And if you would have told me 10 years that we would have the relationship that we have with our children, with each other, are there some relationships in our lives that are struggling right now? Absolutely. But it's not our everyday. Our everyday is more peace, more happiness, more harmony, more unity. And those are just moments that we're having. What do
Yeah.
you think?
Well, the hardest moments in my life, um, one of the things to remember is tomorrow's going to be different. So one moment at a time, one step at a time. The hardest moments in my life, I feel like, were some of the biggest blessings or the
Mm-hmm.
biggest teachers that made me a better person.
Yeah.
And so, as we're going through the divorce, I knew the three older kids liked me, but I
Yeah.
didn't know they cared about me as much. And so I am so thankful. At the time, I did not feel thankful going through the divorce or everything that was
Yeah.
going on, but going through that um, energy, all of a sudden, I had my connections to all the kids were so much better. And we started, just like you said, started reading the four agreements together with
Yeah.
my daughter. I started connecting on a level, and then I was able to go through and heal. You were off healing on your own, and I was going to therapy and healing on my own, and we were able to come out the other end of it. I mean, I love the four agreements because I started to try to speak more authentic, and so that there wasn't. I'd watched other people go through divorces, and they were angry and venomous and
Yeah.
put it all over. And I was just like, I'm not going to do that. I'm just heading, just another day for me. And so, yeah, I was a happy, cheerful divorce guy, but yeah, the hardest
Happy, cheerful
lessons,
divorce guy.
the hardest times, the hardest lessons that I've gone through are some of the most powerful teachers. So
Yeah.
hang in there, one day at a time. There is hope. And if you're looking to leave
Yeah.
high high impact, we were raised
High controlled.
high control. If you're looking to leave, there's hope. There's people
Yeah.
who can help you. There's connections. Reach out to us. um I've
We
never
would love to
lived
help you if we can. So
I've
please.
never lived polygamy, just monogamy. But
I don't know. You've told me you've
uh,
lived polygamy before
yeah, but
with all my personalities.
yeah, this is true. This is true. But we were raised watching a polygamist communication, and so we had to unlearn a lot of stuff of what communication, marriage, all that stuff was, even though we've never even lived it. So
Yeah.
it was amazing to go through therapy, talk to marriage counselors, talk to counselors, do all the stuff, go to classes that the state put on for divorce. I was just like, this is amazing. We need to have these classes when somebody's lining up to get married, to kind of explain to them
Yeah.
how to communicate, how to set everything up, how you're going to
Yeah.
co-parent, and the importance of co-parenting children, and and how to parent children. They're going through it just as hard as
Yeah. As
we
you are.
were, so if not worse.
Well, and I
So
feel
they're
like
going
too,
through it worse.
a lot of times when you're trying to leave a high demand religion or anything, a lot of shame can come around that. So when you start to feel sad or you start to have a hard time, it's like, see, that's what happens. So I left the AUB and then went back thinking God was punishing me instead of realizing that this was my life and I was just having a moment. And so I really want to take the shame out of those moments. It's interesting too, because my brother and I were talking about it the other day about how grateful we are for our relationships and how happy we are in our marriages. And someone had made a comment to him, no, that's not true. I see you guys fight sometimes. And he's like, those are little moments. That's not our life. And I was telling him, good job. Great. That's exactly what I've been trying to tell my kids is that we don't want to identify that our life is hard. We don't want to identify that our partners are hard. So if we can identify that the moment is hard and that's it, and we'll get through that moment. And sometimes you just have to breathe 30 seconds at a time and get to the next moment. And then everything starts to shift. So I feel like if we can look at these moments, what?
There's hope.
There is hope. And if we can look at these as just moments, it takes the shame out of that. Because when you come from a high demand religion, a lot of times perfection feels like a requirement. And so when you're not in that perfection, it's like, oh great, I didn't wake up happy again today. What's wrong with me? Or Corey's breathing wrong today. What in the heck's wrong with him? And now we're in a fight or something to that extent. I feel like then there's a lot of shame that gets tied to that because why am I not doing it right? Why am I not? And then we get stuck in right and wrong. We get stuck in perfectionism. We get stuck in all of those um, heavier energies that really make us start picking ourselves apart. And instead of going, you know what, I'm having a moment. Like we give our children grace when they have a moment. Hey, do you need to sit down and have a little bit of a timeout? Do you need to, and we remove them from circumstances if it gets too overwhelming for them. And yet we don't show ourselves that same courtesy. We don't show ourselves that same, and I think you and I do a pretty good job at it where I'm like, you might need to go sit in the corner, honey, and chill for a second. Or you do the same thing with me. So
Now we do. We've worked
yeah.
over time to
Yeah.
get to this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, when we were younger, it was just go go go.
We didn't
So
always
we
know what
didn't
we
know
were
what.
doing.
Yeah.
We were, and of course we all get into survival mode while we're trying to raise families. And it's easier to take a step back when you don't have small little children. But if you do have small little children, I feel like most people will nurture those children, love those children. Hey, you can see that they're in a struggle. You can see that they need extra love and support at that moment. And so you try to give that to them. And then you forgive very easily the tantrums. You forgive very easily the upset and the crying because their emotions were bigger than they were in that moment. And again, I just want to remind people that there is hope after you leave. And it's about, again, I hate cliche statements, but this is one of them. It's progress, not perfection. And so if you can see that you've progressed, one thing too that I want to recommend is that a gratitude journal. If you're deep in it right now and you don't know, you can't see the sun from the clouds, gratitude journals, even if you don't believe it. Could you be grateful that you have electricity today? Could you be grateful that you woke up today? Could you be grateful that you have running water? All the things that you could possibly be grateful for, start a gratitude journal and just start writing that down every day. Because sometimes if you're in the thick of it, life can get big real quick. And gratitude journals, I feel like, start to shift our energy. And then we're softer with ourselves. We're softer with the people around us. So, yeah, I just really want to give people, I've had a lot of people reach out to me in the last 3 weeks. And I'm so grateful that people feel that they can reach out to us. Please do. Notes to self 444@gmail.com. And we will do everything that we can to support you. And again, we're not therapists, but we can maybe point you in the right direction. But there's a lot of people who are deep in the thick of it right now. And I just want to remind people that there is hope, that there is, I mean, we've been deep in the thick of it the last couple of weeks. It's been hard and heavy. So anyways, I wanted to kind of shift the vibe of our lives a little bit and start talking about some more positive. What are some of the things that we have done to heal through? What are some of the steps we've taken? What are some of the things that we've done? And again, I feel like the number one thing that pulled me out of that deepest despair was a gratitude journal. And there was days where I was pissed. I was writing it down and I'm like, this is bullshit. This doesn't even work. But I read a book by Brene Brown, and I went, you know what? I'm so desperate right now. I'll give this a try. And so I did. And I feel like that is the only thing that pulled me out of that despair. I know I saw some comments. Let's get back up here. Did you have anything you wanted to say with that one too?
Just blessings towards Deborah's son. So
Oh,
you're
I didn't.
sending good energy
I didn't
his
see
way.
what's going on.
Right. Just says he's in the ICU. Send blessings. So
Oh,
definitely sending blessings and positive energy.
Oh, absolutely. So Deborah's Bella says, "Hello, everyone. Can I ask for any prayer warriors to pray for my son?
Yep.
He's in the ICU." Thank you. Absolutely.
Yeah, I was trying to. The one thing that we were trained within the high demand society was that if you left or if you went out into the world, you'd be turned over to the buffetings of Satan.
Mhm.
Everybody has a tough day. It's not the buffetings of
Thank
Satan.
you. That's where I was going to go with it.
It really, everybody goes through it. Even the PSR
Yeah.
within the AUB has rough days.
Yeah.
And would be considered the same rough day that he's having. One of his followers might leave and go, "Oh my goodness, I've been turned over to the buffetings of Satan." That's everybody goes through it. It's not necessarily the buffetings of Satan out here, and there's great days too. And so
Yeah.
be thankful for those also. So
Yeah.
I just look at those hard times as learning lessons, the most powerful learning lessons. So I'm always looking for the silver lining or the what am I learning going through this? What do I need
Well, and
to
I think
change?
that's our default method. Our default mode is I am being tested by Satan because I left a religion or because I did that, instead of going, you know what? No, this is life. We're deconstructing at this point. We're processing. So thank you for saying that, because that's what I was going to go to.
I was so much more lucky. I am very thankful that I got excommunicated because it was a.
Now I know at the time it was so hard.
You
but
don't ever get to come back. You are turned over to the buffeting of Satan.
Yeah.
Go out and try to thrive. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to go out and try to thrive in this world. There was no going back to the AUB, and I got to all right, let's start to learn
figure this out.
The information from people that I like to be like out in the world.
Yeah.
And so what are you reading? What are you going through? And eventually started going through therapy, read a lot of books.
Yeah.
So other than the scriptures, up until then, I'd had a few books, fantasy books that my parents didn't know I was reading. All they thought I was reading was the Book of Mormon and the Bible.
When you say fantasy,
The Hobbit.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
The Hobbit.
I'm
Dune, like, there was a bunch of them. So
I'm like, was Penthouse considered fantasy? I'm just asking. I don't know what kind of books you're reading. Sure. I'm learning so much about you on this podcast. Sure. It's funny because as we've done this podcast, when we got married, I had 3 kids, right? And so we didn't always sit down and pick apart like, oh, what did you we didn't do that. But as we've gone through this podcast, he'll say something and I'll be like, wow, I had no idea. Or I'll say something. He's like, what? Because we went right into parenthood. I mean, I had 3 children. We didn't get to sit down and pick apart our childhoods with each other. And so I feel like we learned something new about each other all the time. And I think that's probably been one of the most fun parts about doing this podcast is learning those parts of each other.
Here's a fun fact.
Oh, gosh.
The first Playboy I ever saw, not reading material, but first Playboy I ever saw
Not reading material.
was my mother had it
What?
because Rulon Allred was in Playboy, did an
Oh, that's
article in
right.
Playboy,
Oh
and
my-
she had that Playboy. She had
I forgot about that.
put clothing or covered up all the things, but she had the article. And so I'm like, what is this? You can get some good information out of this. This is learning about polygamy and everything. And she's got a, yeah. So fun fact, my mother was the
I
first
forgot
one
about
that she had a Playboy.
So, somebody
She had
says
6 boys. She was like carrying that around. So.
no, I'm curious about that. But yeah, I think that's probably that's one thing I've really enjoyed about this podcast is I get to hear all these different fun facts about you that I didn't know. Because we instantly went into navigating parenthood and then combining a family. And then I had an ex-husband who was actively trying to destroy our family, it felt like. And so we didn't sit down and do all the little nitty gritties, and we don't think about it. You don't think about it until you're on a live and somebody asks a question, and then you're like, oh, hey, I guess I never thought about that. But I wanted to read this comment.
I'm so blessed.
Yeah, Antique Krista says, our hard times are just moments. That just hit me hard and I'm crying now. It's been a really hard few years. Oh, and as long as you know that they are just moments, you'll get through them, breathe through them. Sometimes you don't feel like that you're going to. I know there was moments where I didn't think I was going to get through them, and I didn't want to. Quite often, I genuinely didn't want to. And then this guy is just happy defaulted by nature. Like he wakes up happy, he goes to bed happy, and I remember being angry with him one day, just like, stop being so damn happy all the time. You're annoying me. And he's like, would you really want me to be sad? And I'm like, oh, no, that was not really. I'm sorry. No, I want you to be happy. So, um, let's see. Thank you so much, Jamie, for upgrading to a level 2 membership. Thank you. And welcome, Renee Runyon, for being a member. Thank you. There you see.
That's awesome.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just Livy saying your mama secretly liked it. So scandalous it was. She had cut out the article, but I mean we're like, what is this stuff? What is this? And she's like, I've just kept this like in a scrapbook type thing.
Yeah.
But she had to color in some not so naughty pictures. So it was a coloring book for
Playboy.
her. Yeah.
Well, I didn't mean to say penthouse, but I couldn't think of Playboy at the time. I'm not very familiar with that. I mean, there was that other husband that was very familiar with it, but not this. Let's see. Somebody asked if oh heck, sorry, I'm trying to find it. Okay, Katie says, I've been listening to a parenting book and it was talking about being an emotional safe place for your kids. And it hit me and it hit me that this is not something I've experienced myself as a child. Well, and isn't it interesting too, because we do want to be there for our children. All the things that we want to do for our children. I feel like that's one of the things that you and I have had to stop and go, let's do that for ourselves too.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get that nurturing when we were younger. We didn't get that parenting. I literally don't ever remember being held by either one of my parents. My mom swears she held me, but I don't remember it. I only remember being held by 2 different grandmothers. And so that is really big for me. I love to hold my grandbabies because of that. And we were in Disneyland in January and the 6-year-old had fallen asleep. And my son said, here, Mom, can you hold her while I go grab the stroller? And I just sat there welled up with emotion because she's 6 and she doesn't like me to hold her as much. And it was the first time I'd been able to hold her like that for a long time. And I was hoping he would just take forever to go get the stroller so that I could just sit there and hold her. And as I'm holding her, I'm just whispering and pouring in all of these words into her of just how much I love her, how wonderful she is, all of these nurturing things. And so we look at those moments and we think, oh, these moments are so fleeting. These moments don't happen very often. And we cherish those moments. And if we can just reverse engineer that and know that these sad moments don't happen all the time either, and they're fleeting too, and they come and they go, and they come and they go. And if we can just always remember, yeah, in the Untethered Soul, it is such an amazing book. Again, this will be my 4th time listening to it because I feel like some of the concepts I've heard a dozen times in my lifetime, but for some reason they didn't stick. This time they're sticking a lot deeper than they have ever stuck before. And I think it's just maybe my soul's ready to hear some of the things now that I haven't been ready to hear or couldn't hear before.
That was the exciting part about the first lesson that I did, or the first thing that I did with the hypnotherapy, was we actually sat and discussed what are those whispers, what are those thoughts that I want to tell myself in my head, the things that I have wanted to tell my children, but that I want to hear about me from the universe or from people around me. And so she put down all of the things that to change some of the thoughts that I had, that I felt like that I grew up with. Here are the thoughts I don't want. I want to change the trajectory of it. And so we did that. And then I listened to my meditation where those are constantly going into my head, and trying to reprogram some of the things that were said to more positive things now that I'm an adult. So,
and it's funny because he's so cute, because I'll walk in there and he's just laying on the bed with this like grin on his face with his headphones in, listening to it. And I'm like, oh, I can tell Corey's reprogramming his belief system.
Because it is. It's nice to lay there and be told positive things.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And thank you, Livy Lou, for that, for the flow of state. For some reason, some of the notifications weren't popping up. So I don't know what's happening with our chat today. It looks like it disconnected and it reconnected. Let's see. So Blessed Canadian says, Corey, had you not have been excommunicated, the rest of us sinners wouldn't have had a chance to hear your nefarious revelations, which are a highlight for me.
No, thanks. It took a while to do it too, because even though I was excommunicated, I'm like, I'm not talking to anybody about that. I even came through from this background or the group. So a lot of people that I worked professionally with really didn't know that I was had a background within polygamy until I married Melanie, and then she's just telling everybody. So everybody,
Melanie and her big mouth.
Yep. So no, it was good, and all of a sudden, people were completely interested in it. And so then I could start joking around with them and telling them how we grew up and things like that. So that's all I'm doing is telling my stories over again.
So you really should write a book like Dungeon Crawler Carl, so that you can write a funny way about the way you grew up.
Yeah. Living in the compound.
Yeah.
So
I think it'd be funny. Okay.
We had some good stories growing up. So
you really do. And he does have some very funny ones. And it's hilarious when all of his brothers get together, but it can be very traumatizing for some people too, because they're like, oh, that's not funny. But these boys will get going on it.
We survived.
At least we're here to
alive,
laugh about it. Thank you, Aunt Judy. She says, you two are the best. You're so authentic. We appreciate all the work that you have done and are willing to share with us. We need the positivity reminders. Yeah. Thank you. And honestly, I feel like as I reflect on where we were 10 years ago, somebody had asked the question. I was trying to go back and find it, but the chat had disconnected or something, and I'm not able to scroll back. Somebody had said, how long were you guys like separated or whatever before you got divorced in 2016? So we had kind of gone through some really tough times. We ended up filing a bankruptcy, and then Corey had his arm shattered, and then we had a couple of significant deaths in our family. He had his arm snapped in half, and we had it. So it just felt like life was getting really hard. And Corey, kind of, you defaulted into what polygamous men do. They withdraw. They don't want to talk. They don't want to resolve things, and they withdraw.
Yeah, I'd gone into depression, I think.
Yeah,
so
Corey definitely had gone into a little bit of a depression. And again, this is not Corey's fault. I'm just saying these are the programmings that we had. And I went into if I perform more, he'll like me more, because you're always trying to be the wife that outshines all the other wives or outshines all the other women. And my performance was never like, I wasn't being the good enough wife. And finally, I got sick and tired of it. And we haven't gone into a lot of detail about why we got divorced, which we're writing down our story now so that we know how to tell it on a video, because we definitely want to be very clear in our video. And I'm not doing this again. I'm not being rejected by another man. So I left. And that had happened, I think it was probably about a year. But we still did care about each other, and we still did love each other. But there was just not, I was bitter and angry. He was, and you'd gained a lot of weight. I'd gained a lot of weight. We were just both we just withdrew, and people were stunned. Nobody in our lives knew that was going to happen. Well, hell, we didn't even know it was going to happen. And so, but I would say it was probably a good year and a half, 2 years before we actually separated, that we were running into some really hard times. We filed bankruptcy, I think, in 2011 or 2012, something like that. We had a ton of medical debt from our last baby. So we ended up having to file bankruptcy over that. And that hit both of us harder than I think anything else did, because we had so much shame around it. And
because I had been working super hard, and it was just all of a sudden we got hit with a bill that just felt overwhelming. And so thank goodness somebody came and talked to us, and we did. Yeah, because I didn't even know about bankruptcy at the time.
We didn't know we even had that off.
That you could do that. So,
and it was hard, and we're both very prideful. We're both the oldest children. We're both like, you work hard for what you have. You don't file bankruptcy. So I think that was really the start of it. Well, I had miscarried, and I think that was the start of it, to be honest.
We brought shame upon our house.
Yeah, we did. So. We felt so, and then it just felt like we just started going downhill from there, and we didn't communicate about it because we didn't know to. And so what that really did for us is opened us up to heal the programming that we had. So we started to deconstruct some of the stuff we had and reprogram into a healthier pattern. And when we got back together, we had to talk about what we wanted our marriage to look like this go around. And it has not been easy. It's been really hard.
But I felt like that I was given tools. It's so interesting because we grew up in a community that, hey, you got some parenting advice? Oh, yeah. Scriptures or the prophets. Yeah. You got marriage advice? Scriptures, the prophets. Yeah. Talk to somebody like that. And so you just go in winging it. And because even the PSR doesn't know marriage as well as he thinks he does. And so
that's what's funny to me is my dad is the one who teaches, like counsels marriage in the AUB, which I find humorous because,
yeah. So all of a sudden,
my dad's got wives who hate each other, don't like themselves, and barely get along. So.
And we were just working really hard, reading books on parenting and things like that, because we really wanted to become decent parents, better parents, but never read anything on marriage or being a husband or a wife until it was over. And all of a sudden I'm going to marriage counseling, and she's giving me books, and I'm reading up, and this is communication. I get the 4 agreements. This is how you communicate. This is what you ask for. Oh my goodness. So yes, it was until we hit that brick wall. That's why I say those hard times are some of the best times for me, because
you can really build on them.
I'm learning And I didn't think that you and I were going to get back together, but I'm like, well, I'm going to learn as much as I can. So on the next relationship, I have all these tools. I've been through a divorce now. I've been through a marriage. So what am I looking for in the next marriage? And so did a lot of journaling of what I was actually looking for, how I wanted to communicate. And so, yeah, 2 years of being single, and all of a sudden I'm learning how to communicate.
Well, what's funny too is we've always been good friends. Like, we did not know each other when we were growing up in the AUB, right? We met down at Lake Powell on our houseboat. I think we've told you guys that story. So we became friends when I was still married. And so we were friends for like, I don't know, 4 years. I think we were friends for 4 years before we started dating. And so during our separation time, we did what was called nesting. And our children stayed in the home. And then when it was my time with the children, Corey moved out. When it was his time with the children, I moved out. Well, there became a point where I didn't have a place to live. And so we have a larger home. We have 7 bedrooms. And so I was able to stay in the basement. Corey was able to stay upstairs. I was telling this story to someone last night, and it was funny because then Corey decides he's going to start dating on a dating app. Can I tell this story? Is that going to bug you? Yeah. So I'm in the kitchen making dinner, right? And this guy's in the office calling somebody, and we're trying to work things out to be at least friendly because we were very friendly, I think, during the whole separation process. But so I'm in the kitchen making dinner, and he's in the office setting up this Tinder date. And I sneak over there, and I'm listening in the doorway, and I'm like, this girl is a total hag. She's yelling at him. She's getting all mad at him. And I'm like, and he comes out, I'm all, good luck on that one, buddy. And he's all, I hate you. I hate you for making me date other people. And I'm like, I'm not making you do anything. You go out and have you. So he goes out on his date, then he comes back, and then he starts talking to some other girl. And I'm like, man, you hit the hardcore girls on that app, because then she's screaming at her kids in the background and her dog. And I'm sitting over there listening, and I am now going to stay single forever. Like, I am done. I know that I have masculine energy issues, and until I heal that in myself, I'm not dating anybody. I'm just staying single, going to be a mom. So I have no interest in outside dating, right? But this guy over here, he's like, well, I guess I'm going to start doing something. And so he comes back in, and he's all, I hate this dating pool. This dating pool is so hard. It's so disgusting. And these women are so abrasive, and they're so mean. And no one's it was, how you doing? Did I just spill all your secrets?
I think it's funny. No.
It was a tough time. But I had dated somebody in between that too. And and he mocked me, and we mocked each other. And then afterwards, we're like, we really do have it the best with each other. What are we doing? Why are we trying not to? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Corey's like, I can't believe we're talking about this.
Dating was unique.
Yeah, it was hard. It was hard. And
it is. I hadn't dated since my 20s, and now I'm.
When you and I started dating when you were 30, 29. Yeah. So when we got together, I was 26, he was 29. We got married when you were 30 or 31, I think.
And how well did I do as dating when I was 29?
It was rough. The kid acted like he was 14.
There we go.
And but the good part is that we were friends before that. We were safe friends because I was married, and there's no way to have, like, we weren't flirty with each other. We weren't anything, because we were just good card playing buddies. And so we would hang out that way. And so it was fun. But when we got married, we went right into parenthood and trying to figure out how to blend a family. So anyways, I don't know why I got off on that tangent. It was funny, but it was funny to watch him try to date other people. And during this time frame, I'm not a journaler either. I don't journal. But I did keep the gratitude. And one of the gratitude things I wrote down is gratitude for watching Corey try to date. It was some good comedy, and it was some funny moments. But then it was just like, can we just work this out? This is ridiculous. I hate women. I hate men. All right. So Nina, what?
Yeah, I'd like to answer that question.
Yeah, I'm getting down there. Nina Simon Eddy says, thanks for sharing your process to get beyond the desperation of depression and hopelessness. Never give up, but also try something different if what you're doing isn't working. And I think that's such a great way to put it. It is a desperation of depression and hopelessness. And I feel like that's such a great way to put it, because again, if you can just, even if you don't believe it, just could you possibly be grateful for something and write that down. Thank you so much, Debbie Taylor. Sorry, I'm trying to thank you for upgrading to level 2 membership. That is so, thank you so much. And then Jody says, you can't give when when you have nothing in the tank. Yeah. And then Livy Lou says, thank you, Mel, for sharing. That was my question, because when I was married for 20 years, I always wondered if it was a quick or a long time coming like mine was. Ours was definitely, I think, a few years. We had a pretty severe disconnect, but we still loved each other. And so that's what was hard about it, I think. Thank you so much for Jody says, appreciate the lightness and positivity. I was getting triggered and PTSD was kicking in. No offense.
No, we were also.
We were too.
I was getting. I'm like, man, I don't want to talk about all this.
Yeah.
I want to talk about something happy and light and
our channel is getting
funny,
a little bit too
so.
heavy there, so we want to start talking about some of the more lighthearted things. And not that we don't want to handle abuse situations or even talk about those, but I feel like when you're already in the desperation of hopelessness and despair,
It's how to get out of it.
yeah, talking about that just spirals you down even farther sometimes. And you just need to know that there are, one thing I would highly recommend too, that I feel like we both did, is where do you want to be in 5 years? Even if it seems absolutely ridiculous, where do you want to be? Because 10 years ago, I would never have thought that I felt so heavy. I felt so like life was just a burden. And now it's like, I still wake up tired. Because this whole menopause thing's kicking the crap out of me, but it's different now. It's a different type of energy now. Jessica Frail says, I'm currently working on trying for my rainbow baby. My heart goes out to you, Melanie and Corey. It is very hard to deal with, and I can only imagine the way you were raised. Sending love. Yeah, so much love for you too, with your rainbow baby. I know that can be, that right there can be a lot. Somebody says, well, we filed bankruptcy twice in our 45 years. When debt consumes you, you got to get help. Yeah, when we filed, I remember the day that I realized we had to file, and I was putting dishcloths, hand towels from the kitchen on my little boy, on our baby, as diapers. And I was using grocery bags from the grocery store as the plastic pants for it. And what?
When we were, because that was normal growing up. We
Yeah,
had cloth.
yeah. We had used cloth diapers growing up.
And plastic pants. That was normal, but yeah.
That was a break. And Corey was working. He'd gotten out of real estate for a couple of years and was working a different job. And we just were so buried under so much medical debt that I remember the day that I'm like, we have to file this. We can't keep this up. We can't lose our home. That was our number one priority, is not losing our home. Yeah, we did not. Lightly Baked Witch says, I love listening to you. I've done so much healing from the things you've shared that has triggered something in me. Oh, I love that. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. We definitely feel blessed to do what we do. And that's why I said to Corey, we've got to start talking about the blessings that we've gotten. We've got to start talking about some of the happier things. How do we work our way through this? Because right now, everything, like, this channel just feels too heavy. So we got to start working on some of the things that we
wanted to start it so that we were showing that there is hope outside of these. Because I'm sorry, it feels heavy when you're talking about growing up the way we did. It
Yeah.
was heavy for everybody involved, everybody around.
Yeah.
And you just hung in there. That was the saddest part, is you were trying to be faithful to the end of your days, because then you would get blessings in the next
Yeah.
life. And so life felt hard. Once we got out, life was not as hard, and I almost felt spoiled. And so I just wanted to reach out those people who are in these difficult situations within these communities. There is
Yeah.
an exciting life worth living and fulfillment outside of these communities. Come on out. It's so much better out here. So,
Well, and I was just saying that to somebody last night.
stress.
How hard it is when it's like you wake up and it's your daily life is just so hard. It's like you have to be a sister wife. You have to follow all these rules. You have to follow all these. And what's hard about it too in the AUB, I don't know about other groups, is that the rules are always changing. It doesn't matter. Like, you might not have the right last name, but your sister wife does. And now your life is completely shifted because you no longer, you're not the wife anymore. And so it's just this constant, ever evolving level of what feels very unfair. And you never know what the rules are going to be like. You never know if your husband's going to wake up with a revelation that he's supposed to marry someone else. Cute little hot 18-year-old, or a cute little hot 19-year-old, or for hell's sake, she could be 14. And you never know if that's going to happen. And so it's this constant looming fear that lives inside of you when you're a woman in this religion. It was for me, at least. And it was like, well, what if she has a better father than what I had? What if she has the right father than I had? And so there's just all of these variables and factors that it's like an everyday, and it's almost, for me, it was consuming. I would wake up and I'm like, what if, what if, what if, what if, what if, what if? And now it's like, I wake up and I was telling this, I love going places with Corey because I watch other couples and I'm just like, I know we're going to get in the car and we're going to be like, thank you. I love that we can be somewhere and we don't go home and fight, that we can be somewhere and it's like, it's just easy. Life is just easier.
Yeah. The stress that we grew up with. Yes, there's moments and times that we have similar stress,
Yeah.
but it was 24/7.
Yeah.
The way I felt like growing up, it was you had those moments in time where there was peace. I feel like it's the opposite later on in our life, where there's moments in time where there's stress, and the rest is the calm and
But that's
peace.
not our normal life.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a very happy, calm life. Okay, so Livy Lulu says, Corey, what about Melanie made you overcome all your notions about dating someone from your former community?
Yeah. It is because we became friends before.
Yeah.
I had two rules. I didn't want to date anybody within the community or any high community. And I didn't want to date somebody that had kids. At that time, my young adult, I didn't want to mess up kids. So I didn't want to have kids personally myself, and I didn't want to be a evil stepfather. So I had two rules.
And yet you're in our son's phone as evil stepfather.
And I changed both of those, not only because I'd met you and your kids and saw how lovely you were, but there was something about, all of a sudden you went from just, hey, she's a good friend, everything like that, to, okay, I would probably break those rules for this girl.
Oh, thanks.
And, which I did. And and the kids won me over too.
Mm-hmm.
We had been down to Lake Powell. We were fun uncles, showing them cool tricks. They liked all my magic tricks, my jokes. And so I'm like, yeah. And they quickly grew tired of it once we got married, but my jokes, but they're more appreciative of my jokes later on in life. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And
But
it's funny. I did have to convince him to date me. He was like, what? And so I had to ask him out. I had to tell him he could kiss me. I had to tell him he could hold my hand. I had to initiate the first time we were intimate. I had to do all of these things because he was like, um, it was like a deer in the headlight because we were,
there are rules and regulations, and her dad had said no. So I wasn't, if her dad had said no, it was
they fired you from
programming.
those
I
rules and
know, they
regulations. You
did,
didn't have to follow them
but it
anymore.
was programming. And so, yeah, I had to, you do know you're going down the path of hell to be dating me, to be doing all of these things, to be kissing
He's like,
me.
are you sure you know
Are you
what you're
sure
doing?
you're okay with that? Yes, I am. All right, let's.
And again, that was one of the benefits of us getting to know each other while I was married because I could see the character of this man. And so for me, that was worth it. And he did have one thing stacked against him was his skin tone. I always swore I would never date somebody with as light of skin tone as Corey has.
I tan up pretty good though.
I know. And so yeah, that was one of the downfalls that he had, but that was about it. And other than that, I loved how he interacted with my children. I loved how he interacted with me. I could beat him in cards, which he did not like. He was a sore loser in all games.
It's never happened, but
And so we just got along really well. So there was about, I think we met each other in 96, 97. I think we met each other at the end of 97. And then we got married in 2001. So it was kind of I got divorced in 2000 and we got married in 2001, a year later. And again, I had small kids. We got married when my baby was 2 and I didn't want to raise my children by myself. And I didn't feel like I had I didn't feel like I was equipped to raise my children by myself.
And we had met socially before then.
Barely.
We didn't know.
I didn't give him the time of day. He was at my first wedding and I didn't even know him.
But I was a +1 because at the time I was dating her first husband's
he was dating my
sister.
ex-husband's little sister.
And so she had asked me to come down, bring her down for her brother's wedding. So I knew her husband's side of the family, but I didn't know who you were.
And you were just some little punk kid that was not punk, but you were just some little kid that was just like hanging around with my sister-in-law, not somebody that I ever even paid attention to. And so it wasn't until he came to Lake Powell that I went, oh, who is that again? So, yeah. And so the character of a man is more important than the social status. And I didn't realize he did not hold social status. I mean, I did not know that until I was informed by people. And so I appreciated the character. And I thought, my boys, at the time I had 2 boys and a little girl, and I thought, my boys, I want them to model that character of a man, and I want my daughters to be loved the way he respects women. So that's why we ended up going out, and it was a tumultuous courtship for sure, because I had informed my ex-husband that I was going to go out with Corey before Corey knew I was going to go out with Corey. And he was like, no, you're not. And I said, yes, I am. I'm not going to sit around and not date. And he was like, you're not dating. You're still sealed to me. And I said, well, if the AUB won't give me a release, this is where I came in very similar to Christine. Then I don't care. I don't need one, but I'm done begging. I'm done demanding. I will start dating. And so I had flat out told him, and it was Corey's brother and my ex-husband and we were sitting around my kitchen table, and Corey's brother was trying to hook Corey up with my sister. And I was like, nope, I'm going to ask him out. And my ex-husband lost his ever-loving mind. And he was like, absolutely not. But I gave him a heads up that I was going to be asking Corey out.
It's just the way that the community grows up. Yes, a woman can also date, but they should be dating for the man or the husband by going out and bringing other wives in. When you started going out and dating other men,
Bringing other husbands in.
that
He was like, this is
against
the
the
wrong
rules.
direction.
It's against the rules.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And I'll still never forget Corey's face. The first moment I was like, hey, don't go out with my sister, go out with me. And he's like, I can't, you're married. And I'm like, not anymore. And again, this is where the AUB just makes up the rules as they go along, because it's like, you can have a release, you can have a release, you can't have a release. So these women are just stuck in limbo for years, not knowing what to do. And I refused to be one of those women. I did not want to be stuck in limbo for years.
And so for the women out there, you can actually go to the court system and go through the process of getting a divorce.
Yeah.
So,
and if you're a second or a third wife and you're not legally married, you can go through the
still-
court system and establish parental rights and establish child support for your
There you
children.
go. Yep.
And again, that's kind of what I had to do because I wasn't legally married. I had to go through the court system to establish parental rights and then do child support.
It's a little bit of work, but
It's a lot of work, and it'll probably get uglier before it gets better. We're not even going to sugarcoat that, but it's worth it for the peace of mind to know that these men cannot control your life anymore, and they cannot tell you what to do anymore. You are your own sovereign being. That's what I loved so much about Beth's interview with us and chat with us, is how much self-sovereignty means to Beth, and how, to find your own voice and to find your own way in life, and that this man doesn't always have to have something held over your head. You can make your own choices. And that's why if you need somebody to talk to, please call. I'll support you in that. Seven Heron says it's great to mix things up because because that's life, isn't it? The good, the bad, and it's all about trying to balance it all. It is, absolutely. Beth says, just wait till you see what Sundays become. It's like a vacation. Yeah. Livy Lou says, do you guys believe in an afterlife? If you don't mind sharing, did you ever have things in your religion that were miraculous that you can't explain? As a former Catholic, I have. I absolutely believe in an afterlife, and I've absolutely seen miracles happen. Yes. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I do believe I believe something continues on.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely. And Beth says too
I
many
don't know
variables.
what it is, but yeah, many different theories. I've studied all the different dogmas from most of the different religions of what afterlife looks like. So yeah, and yeah, I absolutely believe in what would it be? Good luck. Somebody
Karma.
watching over you. Yeah, karma.
Angels, guides,
Angels,
absolutely.
whatever guides. Because yeah, there's been times where I probably shouldn't be here, and a little nudge or
Yeah.
something saying change direction and has kept me here. So yeah, I've had some close calls in my life. All of us boys had close calls growing up in the mountains of Montana. So we were very lucky in so many different areas of our life that we all made it to adulthood. So
You weren't eaten by grizzlies?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, Beth says too many variables means not predictable. Not predictable means unsafe. And I definitely agree with that. I feel like in the AUB, especially, again, probably other groups, but in the AUB especially, I feel like the rules are always changing. And if you piss off the prophet, you're screwed. And he's not going to, you're no longer in his favor if you're not kissing his ring.
Now you got a new set of rules.
Now you got a new set of rules. The other sister wife doesn't have those set of rules. You got a new set of rules.
And the sad part is when you're high ranking within see, I've never had that problem. I've always been a low ranking within the AUB. So I've always kind of had a steady set of, hey, the rules aren't going to be in your favor ever. and yeah, you were high ranking within the AUB. It must be difficult no longer being in the favor of the PSR.
No, my dad and I have gone through these my whole life, my dad and I have had these ups and downs. I guess I don't remember saying this, but I guess when I was like 21, I had said, maybe I wasn't quite that young. I said something to my dad about being an ass. And my dad went to my mom angry and said, she said I was an ass. And my mom's like, well, are you being an ass? And I don't remember this conversation, but my mom tells me about it. And my dad was like super upset with me. So no, my dad and I have always had an up and down relationship, but I feel like I got more respect for my dad when I finally told him no, that I would date you. That was the first time I ever put my foot down and said, absolutely no, dad, you will not make this decision for me. And he was like, excuse me. I mean, the last time my dad threatened to beat me or spank me, I was 16 years old. And he's like, don't think you're too old for a spanking, young girl or young lady. And I was like, absolutely not. And so I was 26, but was the last time that was the first time I really stood up to him. And so we just, yeah, I like the problem with being on the good side of my dad is that you have to kiss his ass to get on the good side of him. Everything is very transactional. If you have something he needs, then you're on his good side. If you don't, then you're just another peasant in the group of peasants, you know? And that gets exhausting to try to keep up with that all the time. And I felt like it was a constant performative. I had to be performative my entire life for him, and it was exhausting. And honestly, to not have to do that anymore is amazing. It feels wonderful. It feels wonderful to go, is dad going to call me his darling daughter this time, or is he going to call me an adulteress? I mean, it's a coin toss. I don't know.
Both.
Right. Thank you so much, Chris MC10, for upgrading that membership. Thank you.
Yeah, the last time, well, it's been about 10 years since my dad told me he could still whoop my butt, but he probably still could whoop my butt. So
that's hilarious.
he was a strong man. So
yeah, character does matter so much. And Corey is a very high caliber man. And I can say that with a lot of pride because I really truly believe that. And I feel like he has helped me to mold and shape our children into high character humans. And it makes me feel very grateful.
the larger the caliber, yeah, the larger the head. I'm heavy holding this large head up.
Oh,
So
thank you
thanks
so
for
much,
blowing up my ego.
Wendy2041 for says, I think you're the best couple. Thank you so much. Thank you for becoming a member. Let's see. Catherine Perry says, yay, I caught a live. My new work schedule has made it so hard. Oh, we're so happy that you're here. Thank you. We're going to try to be very consistent about keeping our lives on Wednesdays, sometime between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And don't forget,
depending on my showings.
Yeah, depending on like Corey's work's been picking up a little bit more. And don't forget to hit the bell on our page. That way you're getting notified. A lot of people say they don't get notified of our lives, but if you make sure that you hit that bell, it should notify you. And then when we start book club up again, we'll start that up on Tuesdays. Tuesdays are just the easiest day for us to do book club. And we'll do that. But we're going to get through our wedding and one more wedding, wedding a year for the last 3 years. It's going to be awesome. Let's see. What were you saying?
Just Liv says, I was watching old John and Kate episodes. How come TLC hasn't paid for Cody's hair plugs yet? Can we chat about that?
Yeah, because didn't John get hair plugs or something? I was so addicted to that show when it came out. It was like the first. Well, Survivor is the first reality show we've ever really watched together. And then John and Kate +8. I was so addicted to that.
Well, the reason, once we step away from the AUB and we don't get those oil blessings on the crown of your head, then the hair starts to fall out. Or
you have to explain what oil blessings are now.
They would give you a blessing with consecrated oil. And so put a little consecrated oil on your head. So
Yeah. So
And-
that's part of the blessing process of it is you get what's it extra
work.
virgin olive oil.
Yeah.
I can't remember that. I don't mean it like that, but I mean, there's like
Rebaptism.
cold pressed olive oil. I don't know. And then you have it's special oil that's blessed.
It's called consecrated.
Thank
'cause
you.
Somebody would sit and consecrate it, do a little
Yeah,
blessing
I knew there was a name for it.
Extra virgin's good too, though. So,
Yes, this is where my uneducated comes in. You can all see that I did not graduate high school till I was 26. Very uneducated. I should spend more of my time educating rather than talking on it on a YouTube channel, huh? Jessica Frail says
educating or learning?
both. Getting myself more educated.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Jessica Frail says, is it normal to not get legally married in the AUB? Very normal. It's very normal. Most first wives do tend to get married, but in my situation, my ex-husband thought if we weren't married too, that legally married, then he owned everything. And so I think a lot of them don't realize, especially in Utah, we're a common law state, or not common law, we're a, what's the word? I just made fun of myself for being uneducated. And now we're a joint tenant state. Thank you. We're joint tenant. And so when you are married or you've lived with someone for a certain amount of time and you serve children together and people know you as a married couple, then you are a joint tenant state and you legally get half of your estate. And so that is what I had to do, is file for joint tenancy in our property.
He was waiting around to marry the prophet's daughter or the PSR's daughter legally. He didn't know that you were
that I was going to be the prophet.
PSR's
Yeah.
daughter.
And at the time when he married me, my dad was not even a council member. He was not an apostle.
He's a nobody.
And the girl that he had his eye on her father was the prophet. And so that made her a lot more desirable to marry legally than me. So I was just a nobody. I was a commoner. Yeah. Irene Hansen says, oh no, I missed the first 65 minutes. I was looking forward to this. I'll just start from the beginning. Hi, Corey Mel. Hi, Irene. Welcome. Carmen says, hopefully there's dragons in the afterlife. I very much concur. I very agree. And Kate, your sister Katie, says it's a miracle in itself that any of our family's kids made it to adulthood. Mm-hmm. We literally say this all the time. My siblings, and that's what Beth just says. Our siblings say that all the time. Yep. Let's see. Corey sounds very quiet. It's because Corey's so soft spoken. It drives me nuts sometimes. I'm like, speak up, man.
I sound super loud in my head. So
why is this not
norm to good?
It's not updating right here. There we go. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Our chat, something's going on with our chat today. It's not connecting and staying connected, so it keeps turning off. Consecrated olive oil is what Beth reminds me of. Yeah, I apologize. I could not hit that for my anything. And the thing is Cody got a hair transplant. That would be so, like, I think it's bad enough that he has a convertible car. Like, can you imagine being that vain that you get a hair transplant when you have 17 children to take care of? Like, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, but TLC was going to pay for it. So,
well, if TLC paid for it, I guess, then that's a whole different thing.
Yep.
Edumacated, somebody said. Yeah, thank you. That's me. I'm not even pretending to be intelligent. I know that I struggle in that. Beth says, in my experience, the legal marriage was saved and exchanged for the wife who needed it. It bounced around. Isn't that funny? Thank you for pointing that out, Beth, because I agree with you on that one. It depends on who needs the legal. And typically, the most manipulative, cunning women are the ones who needed it the most. Right? What are you smirking at?
They all need it for protection
Mhm.
to be able to.
But in your guys'
that.
situation, I feel like your dad married the legal wife with the youngest children, and that was wise of him. The
Yeah.
way that your dad did that was very wise.
Yeah.
I don't feel
So,
for all your dad's faults or all whatever, I feel like that is one situation. He knew that that wife was going to be a good steward,
well, and that
and we're
she
so
had
proud
the
of her. 'Cause yeah,
youngest children too. So
yeah.
2 of the youngest children. So, yep.
So it's
Yeah, no,
definitely
we
not all
love
the
her.
time. It's definitely in Corey's family situation, I feel like the legal wife
Has
was
done well.
was very was a is a good steward over the family. Let's see. Um
I'm going to start a rumor here.
oh gosh.
In the AUB, the consecrated oil is extra virgin olive oil for the ladies and consecrated motor oil for the men. So high grade motor oil though. So
I know. And thank you for the grace. Livy says, or Jessica says, I feel like you are very well spoken. These lives aren't scripted. Anyone would have a hard time thinking of something right in the moment. Give yourself grace. You are so intelligent.
especially since
It's especially
especially since
right.
we deleted the majority of these religious words from our vocabulary like 30 years ago. We're having to remember what did they used to call it? Oh yeah. Oh, that son, go get me the consecrated oil. Okay.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So much of it we don't keep retained in our thoughts and our memories.
And now all the oil in our house is just cooking oil or motor oil. So nobody
I do
consecrated
remember
anymore.
feeling a sense of panic when I had typically every Mormon home, every LDS home, every polygamous home is going to have a bottle of consecrated oil or one or two. And it's just what that process looks like is typically the priesthood holder of the home does a special blessing on this oil. And this oil is used for like
it's set aside for the healing of the sick.
you even know the blessing.
Yeah.
What's the blessing?
I don't remember. That's the part that I remember, but we had to study it so that we could make more oil.
Mm-hmm.
So in some of the teachings, it was like before the oil ran out, you would add more so that it would mix with the new oil. And then just in case your blessing sucked, you got the blessings from the previous guy who gave you that oil. So you didn't want to always go out, and then you just hope that it would magically refill. And yeah, there's some stories about it magically refilling, some stories but you always kept it mixed. And so, but I guess you had to get it from somewhere. So the beginning of the consecrated oil, I don't know where it came from. So just like priesthood, you got some consecrated oil passed down. So
yeah,
I guess you could do a whole new bottle and just lie about where it came from. But
I remember though when my dad would bless a whole bottle and keep it there at the house, and that's what you use when you're in labor. That's what you use if you have a sick child. Now, in the early teachings of the Mormon church, women could give blessings as well. So the men would consecrate the oil so that the women could use it to bless the sick children. If the man wasn't around, they could use it for, I believe that, I think it was Brigham Young, right? Took that away and took that away for women to not be able to do blessings. In the AUB, though, women still did blessings. They still blessed each other. You're never allowed to bless a higher ranking person than you, but you could bless what?
You're saying never allowed to, you could bless a higher ranking person than you. It just I as a priesthood holder could bless. Uh, a mother could give me a blessing if there was no other, and I'm the one that needed it. So
Yeah.
I could give a blessing to the PSR if I was asked, and
Well,
you
right.
needed
But you needed to be asked, though.
you did, yeah. So you could give higher ranking. You just
But a woman couldn't give a man a blessing.
yes,
Could she?
if asked. Let's if there were no other priesthood holders around,
And she was the last
she was
resort.
the
She would have
last
to do.
resort. Yep, and she could give. Yeah, because I think at age 12 and a half or 13, I was a priesthood holder.
Yeah.
And my mom could still.
I remember my mom giving us
come in
blessings and using consecrated oil.
heal me or what have you.
When I got pregnant, I went and got what was called a mother's blessing, and my grandmother used consecrated oil on my parts. And then when you go through the temple, you use the oils too. And so again, it's held in a very high respect and regard. And so I don't want to make light of it for that reason, but yes, women do have, in the AUB, women did have the power to bless other women if they need, if there was a need for it, and or children. Mm-hmm.
If there was no worthy priesthood leader around, so
yeah,
which there aren't very many.
yeah, no, there's not.
Sorry.
Okay. Oh no, they're making fun of, what did we say about it's consecrated EV extra virgin olive oil to an Italian is oil shipped from Italy for cooking and canning. I'm dying. Mm-hmm. That's about what it is. I can even see the label on the bottle because you always bought a very specific kind. Yeah, that's funny. Oh, let me get back to that question. Let's see. Social Security benefits apply for all ex-wives married for 10 years. Some ex-wives who made more than the husband would want their own benefits, but that should have been thought out. So this is what I was telling Corey the other day. I'm like, I have been struggling lately to keep my head above water emotionally, and just I've been going through a lot of stuff. So I've been going back to the basics and coming up with gratitude of what can I be grateful for. So that was one of the things I said. I'm like, you know what? I am grateful. I feel like I have had people out there who have really had my back. The universe has really had my back. When I bought my first home, I was 19, and the loan officer made sure that I was on title. Even though I wasn't on the loan, I was on title. And then when I got divorced, my divorce was stamped on my 10-year anniversary. And I remember thinking, that's crazy. That's weird. But Social Security benefits, I'm wondering if I had a court clerk out there who was like, this girl's getting this, And so I felt that was one of the things I had mentioned to Corey the other day, is I feel like in the struggles that I've been going through emotionally lately, I am gathering all of the evidence that the universe is out there, that that I have guardian angels, if you will, that all have my back. And so that was one of the things I wrote down on my list, was that somebody was really watching out for me and made sure that was stamped and signed on the 10-year anniversary for that reason. So thanks for pointing that out. Because somebody says the olive oil is kind of like a sourdough starter. Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. Yes,
it is. It's got special, exactly what it was. So
yeah, that's hilarious. Mel, do us a solid, and next time you run into Christine, ask her about the transplant. Okay, I'll stop now. I think we did have a little bit of a conversation about that. I'm trying to remember how that conversation went. That's funny. Beth says, I was told that I could use my husband's priesthood and could give blessings. You have to borrow it though. Hey, it's like checking it out of the library. I don't know. But yeah, I was told that too, that you have the power through your husband. Women don't have power on their own, but if they are married. So this is another reason why I talk about ticket wives. They just have to be sealed to a righteous man that can get them into heaven. And so, because they have to be able, this is one of the things, they have to be able to have the power of the priesthood through their husband. Because you're a woman, you can't have that on your own. So
Compels you.
don't finish that sentence. Would it actually count though if a woman did it, or is it a placeholder for a real blessing by a man? It's a placeholder for a real blessing by a man. Obviously, you always want a priesthood holder to give you a blessing over a woman, according to the beliefs.
Yeah.
At least in my experience.
But they sat and told you stories of how when there was no priesthood holder around, women would give blessings and the children would thrive and survive. They never saved any men, but some children lived after they got blessings.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of stories about women coming in and blessing other women during a miscarriage and save the baby. The woman didn't actually miscarry. I've heard there's so many stories, or they've blessed their own children and saved their children's lives. So
just as a grown full man, priesthood holder yourself, you don't want a blessing by a woman, because then you're not going to survive. You need another priesthood holder to give
what
you.
the hell?
That's they told the stories over and over again, and yeah, you never hear them saving other priesthood holders. It was if a man was saved,
they can save other women and children.
It was because a
or
priesthood
animals
holder saved.
I've
them.
heard of it with animals too.
Oxen, blessing their oxen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, if you have a story like that, please don't come at us. We definitely believe in miracles. Definitely. I've seen miracles with this stuff before too. And there is something to be said about the human spirit and the belief and the power of prayer. So I definitely am not trying to mock on that at all. So DJ Jam says, do deceased spouses list all their wives, children, all parents in their obituaries? I think it depends on, because obituaries are very expensive, and you get a guy with 10 wives and 2,500 children, that can get expensive. So I think it just depends on the family situation. And
yeah, my dad's the obituary in the newspaper. Yeah, it was just fairly short and sweet.
But the little cards that you like, the little pamphlets
at his passing, because it was on community property and stuff like that. Yeah, they announced all of the family in there.
Yeah.
And who the pallbearers would be and all of that stuff and how they were related. And so, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, they went.
I think
through
it's just personal choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
but to put it in the newspaper for the public to see, no. So, but and I think their biggest fear on that was that he would get arrested for being a polygamist, but
he's dead.
Yeah, but now
that's irrelevant.
It doesn't work. Yeah. So
yeah, no, I think it really is family preference and affordability, if people can even afford to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Then it goes on.
A lot of times, well, I'm trying to remember that. Yeah, I guess most of my sibling or parents that have passed did get in the obituary, the small town newspaper up there.
Yeah.
But
we were going to do it with my brother, and I think it was going to be like $1,200, and we're like, absolutely not. So we didn't end up doing a lot.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember. I just remember seeing it in the newspaper when different family members passed, and usually it was just so and so had passed.
I think with the man, it's a lot different, because with the wife, typically, no, it's just the husband and then her children that are listed. But with the man, I think it runs a little bit different. I think it just kind of depends. DJ Jam says, content creators talked about some of the Brown parent obituaries, and Mary's dad, for example, had no one. Cheryl, who was married to Wynn, listed everyone, for example. So again, I think it's just personal preference. But I think typically at the AUB funerals that we've gone to, you'll get like a little program or a little,
Mhm.
and then typically everybody is listed in that one, in my experience. And again, too, it depends on if the wives got along. If the wives didn't get along, a lot of times they didn't
Well,
want to share that kind of stuff. And that unfortunately happens frequently too.
in my dad's, it just basically said, uh, uh, and those living, and then had parentheses, see my mother's genealogy. So, and it's because she has the whole,
That's funny.
see what everybody noted below. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, trying to keep that many names and kids in, it can be difficult. So,
Yeah.
that's a
Oh, and then he said
3-page booklet.
Robin's stepdad, Paul, had both wives and all the children listed.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
that doesn't surprise me too, because it seems like Robin's mom was held in very high regard by Paul. So I don't know. Somebody says, I finally caught alive. Yay, welcome. And then DJ says, did all of Bonnie's sister wives leave? I wonder if she had sister wives on her obituary. As far as I understand, she was the only wife that was married to Bill when he passed or she passed, as far as I understand.
Who?
That Bonnie Barber,
Oh, okay.
that she was the only, that was my understanding. I could be wrong, but my understanding is that yes, all the other wives had left before he passed.
Chickadee
Somebody,
218. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
what are you asking? Off topic, Mel, but how are your headaches doing with all the crazy with all the crazy hot weather and wild smoke potentially in the air where you are? We have real bad in Minnesota. You are not my headache. You have been. I won't even lie. The last 10 days have been rough, but
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
yeah, I've actually really been struggling with my headaches. And Saturday night, Corey's brother had a 50th birthday,
It's
and
awesome.
I threw back a few stupid little seltzer drinks
Cold beverages.
and really
Hot
got heat
weather.
stroke. And yeah,
it was 108 that day or something
Yeah.
like that. It was
it was
warm.
108 at the
At
park.
9:00 at night, and it's still in the night 96. So yeah, it was a very warm day. So.
Yeah, it was really hot. It was really hot, and by Sunday night, I was struggling to even function. And then last night, I was outside in the heat for another 5 hours, and so today's been a little bit rough for me too. But thank you. Most of my migraines come from dehydration, so I've been really hydrating a ton. So we'll probably go for another 10, 15 minutes. We were only going to go an hour and a half today, but you guys are always so much fun to talk to. And Jessica says, do the third wives have a special value due to them being the wife that gets them into the celestial kingdom? Go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's his goal wife. That's what he's trying to get, the 3 wives. They figure that when there's just 2 wives, they're probably going to argue, or have more strife. A third wife is supposed to balance everything out and make it. They tell stories all the time that once you get that third wife, everything gets more peaceful, more relaxing, everything like that, because now everybody's just super stoked they're all make it into the celestial kingdom. And so, and then all of a sudden, you go, oh crap, I need to go after that 4th wife because I need to make it become a bishop or a PSR or something like that. And so then they're working towards 7, and then they just get greedy and they get 9 wives, and so, or more. So
They get greedy or they get stupid.
So,
I was watching a live today with, so my sister Emily sent me this podcast channel. We Love to Hate Everything. I think they're funny. I was watching a live today, and they were rewatching the episode of the Knife and the Kidneys episode. And Cody is such a douche in this episode. And so he's telling Christine thanks for coming in and saving us, because she's wife number 3, right? And he's basically just ripping on Mary, because Mary's like, what, such a hag that Christine came in and softened things up. And he goes, you did us a favor by coming in and saving our bad situation, and you're doing us a favor by leaving too. I was like, what the hell? This guy's such a douche.
What was this on?
It was on, remember that podcast I was watching while I was folding laundry this morning? So I did what you guys, so many people come in our comments and they're like, oh, I start cleaning and listen to you guys. And I love that, because that's exactly what I did this morning. And it was, we love to hate everything. And I had that playing. Yeah. So they're watching the episode and then they're talking about it live. And so I wasn't watching watching it. I was just listening to it. And that's what he says to him. He's all, when they're the knife in the kidney scene. But before he says that to her, he says, thanks for coming in and helping us when we needed the help, because she was the third wife. And so she had her place, right? And then he's like, you did us all a favor by, I was in a bad situation. You did us a favor by doing that. And you're doing us a favor by leaving now.
Yeah. Because now I'm back down to 3 wives.
I know.
He's thinking he's doing
thought it was such
still good.
Yeah, it is such a douche thing to say. Nightbird says, wouldn't you have had to have been married legally to claim his Social Security benefits, which I think is half of his? Yeah. So even though I wasn't legally married in the state of Utah, we have common law marriage. And because we were married for the 10 years, we're considered legally married. And had children. And had 3 children. Our friends knew us as being married. Yeah. And we had legal documents, that kind of stuff. So that's why I was considered legally married. Thank you so much. You informed your ex why? I don't know what that question means. Maybe clear that. Gen X Proud says, you informed your ex why? When I was gonna date Corey. I'm assuming that's what you meant. Maybe clear up that question before I go into answering that.
Good, you're still obedient.
So he says, if you ran into Rob and Cody randomly in public, would you speak? I'd probably honestly tell him what a douche I think he is. I'd be like, dude, you really, I don't know. I don't know that I'd have a lot of interest in talking to them, to be totally honest. Yeah. Catherine Perry says, question, I'm amazed that Mel, you had the strength to get away from the AUB. I am too, honestly. Thank you. Seems like Christine and Beth had way more supportive fathers and that encouraged independence. Yeah, I am honestly very surprised. I look back then and I think, where did I find that strength? And especially because there's so many more circumstances that I don't go into publicly, because it just puts too many people in the spotlight that I don't want to put in the spotlight. I don't want them to feel uncomfortable about it. But there was a lot more going on with the girl that my ex-husband was courting. There was a lot. I don't know where I found some of that strength. I honestly don't. I don't know if it was just sheer stupidity and I just was too ignorant to know any better. I was too young. And I don't know, but there are moments where I look back and I'm like, where did that come from? Where did that inner strength come from? And a lot of it I can truly say was my daughter, because I couldn't imagine saying some of the things to her that my mother and father said to me. I couldn't imagine shaming her over her body the way I was shamed by my mom and dad. I couldn't imagine there was just things that I just couldn't imagine for her. And I wanted a gentleman of a son. I wanted my son to be a gentleman. I wanted him to treat his wife with respect. And I think I kind of lived in this fairy tale idealistic life as I was growing up. I believed in chivalry. I believed in the knight in shining armor type of thing. And yeah, I think that I really wanted that for my children, and I wasn't living in that life. And then look what I got. Oh, this little knight in shining armor comes right on over.
What is that? The word of God is, what is it? Strap on the armor of God, the word of God, or something like that. So can't even remember the songs.
I'm like, I don't
Thank
know where you're going
goodness.
with this one, love.
No.
So Catherine Perry, thank you again
you.
for that. She says, just wondering what characteristics help people break free. Go for it.
I don't know. What characteristics create? I think most. I don't know. Somebody who wants to. Usually, those who are very, very curious. They're curious about. And they want to learn more. And eventually, as they learn more and more and study for themselves, not just listen to their leaders, they eventually learn themselves out of the religion. They really do. They can see, then it becomes controlling. Most of the people that left that I've talked to that were very faithful in it, they were studying, they were looking for the scriptures, they were asking questions, and the leadership got nervous that they were asking too many questions about the
Sit
origins
down,
of it.
shut up,
Yeah.
and don't talk about things you don't know.
They demanded from these people that blind loyalty, and when they couldn't give it to them, then basically that they said, no, that's not how the original stuff is. This is different people have taught different things. Which one's the right way? And when the leaders came up with new dogma that they wanted to throw in there, a lot of the people educated themselves out of the community.
Mm-hmm.
So they saw that it was. So what characteristics? Free thinkers, people who actually want to sit down and learn, and they think for themselves. Those who stay in and stay loyal and eventually run it do not know how to think for themselves. That's the scary part. They need somebody else telling them what to do to thrive. And so,
well, and for me, I don't like being bossed around. Again, we've established this, that I have very masculine. What?
You don't. I agree with you. That's all I'm doing.
But you don't either. We are so both very stubborn. It is unreal. And the day that I got married, the energy in my ex-husband shifted, and he now owned me, and I now became property. And it was like I just went from my dad's property to his property, and he literally bossed me around and told me what I had to do and what I didn't have to do. And I tolerated it for so long because it was my duty and responsibility. And then I hit a point where some of his demands were ridiculous. And it was like, no, I'm not doing that. No. And then I watched the level of hypocrisy, and it's like, wait a second, you can do this, and yet you're demanding this of me. And I watched the hypocrisy in my parents. I watched the hypocrisy in my father. Mostly it's like, don't have a social media account, but I'm going to get on social media on Christmas Day and call my daughter an adulterous whore. And it's like, don't drink.
Now you're going to have to go back and correct that.
Why?
Because
he didn't call me an adulterous whore. He called me an adulteress. He called me a multi-covenant breaking adulteress.
There you go.
And so he tells everyone else not to have social media. So I would watch that level of hypocrisy, and it was frustrating for me because I'm like, you're going to tell me what to do? I don't think so. And that's where I get super frustrated. I don't like to be bossed around. I don't mind doing something if I'm asked to do it. Yeah. But the minute that you tell me that I have to do it and demand me that I have to do it, well, then you can just kiss my ass. That's really. And as much as I do get frustrated watching the women bend over backwards to accommodate these men over and over and over again. And I got really resentful of that because I felt like, I'm trying to be careful. I don't want to talk. I'm not trying to throw my mom under the bus, I just watched my mom do that. I watched my mom sacrifice her children over and over and over for a man that didn't give her the time of day most of the time. And I didn't understand that. And I never wanted my children to experience that. And so I didn't ever want them to be in that position. I don't know. I had my first baby, and it's like the world revolved around him. I would literally throw myself under a bus for that child. And I felt that way ever since then.
It was just an inner knowing. There's an inner knowing for me that we were raised up being told we needed to be obedient to our parents, to the leadership, to God, to you put a name there, you had to be obedient to something. And it creates that mindset, that thought creates drones or people who are always looking for permission or trying to get and so we have wanted our children to, hey, you got to make a decision for yourself. What is in best interest? What would you like to be? So I don't want to, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You don't tell me what to do. We've changed the way that our verbiage has on raising children now in marriage. We're not obedient to each other. We're not.
Right.
We are free thinkers that are making a decision for the best interest of ourselves and the people around us and our family or whatever it is. So, and we're being accountable for our decisions. Some of our decisions suck. They hurt. They're powerful learning lessons, but that obedience, we're just pounded so many times.
And it's funny because they'll get up on the pulpit and they'll be like, you have to have your own testimony. You have to, like, you need to know that Joseph Smith restored the Book of Mormon. You need to know that Rulon Allred and Owen Allred and Lemoyne Jensen, and you need to know that all of these men held the keys of the priesthood. You need to have your own testimony. But then the minute that you ask the wrong question, then you're chastised for asking the wrong question. And then it's like, you don't get it. Just sit down and stop talking about things you know nothing about. And then you're put back into place. And then you're treated poorly if you had any sort of out of the box thinking in any way that doesn't go into alignment with what they want you to believe.
Then you're pulling nefarious revelation out of your...
And then you're getting excommunicated for nefarious revelation because you received something from God that wasn't in alignment. Yeah. And again, when the rules are always changing, you're like, well, shoot, I don't know what's the rules now. Apparently, this is funny because I haven't even talked to you about this yet. There was a couple prophets before my dad that had a revelation that dogs were bad in the house. You guys have asked us about this before. I didn't really know much about it, but I've recently learned about it. And apparently what had happened is that they were having a prayer inside of the home, and there was a dog that got the spinnies, or what are they called?
Chasing its tail.
Yeah, where it just starts running around and during the middle of the prayer. Well, then that prophet apparently had a revelation later on that dogs in the home were not acceptable. And so now you can't have a dog in your home. And this is how ridiculous some of these powers of control are. What?
Prophets are funny. It's amazing how these revelations
coincide with their...
Yeah.
with their
one of the wives have a dog. We don't want the dog in the home. The other wife doesn't allow a dog in her home. The new revelation is no dogs in the home.
Right. The zoomies. Yes. Thank you.
You've got yourself a wife here. She's upset that you're dating so many other wives. You get a revelation.
I don't want that wife in my home now. You're out in the barn.
The revelation says, hey, we can have 3 or 4 wives. And okay, let's leave it at 3 to get into heaven. Well, I want 7. Oh, well, you need 7 to be a PSR.
Yeah.
Well, I want 10. Well, you need 10 for... So it's funny how the arguments usually... Revelation usually is to... this is another frustrating thing. A revelation is to win a fight against your wife. God said that we can't have...
The men always win. The women cannot win these fights.
Can't win an argument because Yeah, God just gave me a revelation. Sorry, I am getting snarky on the revelation.
It's just because they're the revelations. Literally, there was a revelation that was so ridiculous, and I remember reading it, going, "This can't be real." And it was just, yeah, they clear themselves of any wrongdoing. God's revealed to me that I don't need to be accountable for that because I know the intent of my heart, and God knows the intent of my heart. Thus saith the Lord. And when they use "thus saith the Lord," I just, honest to God, when I was sitting in church a couple of times and I heard that happen over the pulpit, I was like, oh, shoot, there's lightning coming down. These men are going to be struck. And they should have been, probably, because they're up there in front of hundreds of people proclaiming what God is telling them. Thus saith the Lord, that you're not supposed to have dogs in your home. What a ridiculousness there. That, yeah, we're both getting snarky about that. Welcome to the Hanny Christ. Welcome to being a member. Thank you so much. All right. And then also Catherine Perry, you're on a roll today. Thank you. Free thinkers and love for your children. Good reasons, good people break free. Yeah. That is one of the biggest things I feel like we have tried to do, is listen to our children and give our children the chance and opportunity to make their own choices. Yeah. And it's funny because even my older children were recently told, well, your mom failed because she didn't force you guys into believing in Christ, and now you guys don't know what to believe. I'm sorry. Our children are 34, 32, and almost 28. I'm pretty sure that they can decide what it is that they want to believe. I don't need to force them into believing in Jesus Christ. I don't need to force them into believing in God. And so he feels that I'm a failure because I didn't force those beliefs on them as they were growing up.
And I'm going to make a lot of it.
Oh, no.
Them gasp. I would argue that our children are more spiritual, far more spiritual than the PSR of the AUB. So,
oh gosh,
I know.
I would agree with that too, though.
They absolutely are. So,
well, in one of my sons, my ex-husband says to him, he's trying to get back into the AUB, wants to be a part of the AUB again, and my son looks at him and he goes, "Really? You believe that David Watson, out of all the men on this earth, you believe David Watson speaks to God for you?" And my ex-husband was like, "Well, that's a hard one for me to get through." And my son was like, "Wow." And his respect level just dropped. I mean, there's not a lot of respect there right now anyways, but the respect level just dropped because, yeah, people who know the character of my father,
PSR,
or the PSR of the AUB, find that hard to believe that you can put that man and that character in charge of your eternal soul. And again, I'm sorry, I watched the way my father treated my disabled brother. And if my dad never did anything else in my entire life, the way he treated me, the way he treated any of my siblings, he treated the one child who couldn't defend himself, who didn't have the ability to defend himself. Watching my father treat that child the way he did lost all credibility my dad will ever have in my eyes, because of my brother and his disability and the way that my father treated him. I will never have an ounce of respect for him again.
Catherine Perry right there.
Thank you so much, Catherine Perry. You are on a roll today with this. Thank you. It says, let me get back here. I think dogs love more purely and unconditionally than us. As far as I'm concerned, they are spiritually superior.
Well, and the prophet,
I would agree with that.
The prophet did not want someone more loyal than him in the house. So, yeah.
That's funny.
Dogs are way more loyal than prophets, seers, and revelators. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Ask any second, third, fourth wife. We ask the first wives. So, yeah.
That's so funny.
They just don't want comparison of loyalty to be around, so they need to be.
It's like, you want to know outside. What true loyalty is? Look at how much this animal loves you unconditionally. We don't want that.
And we'll be here 24/7, snuggling, protecting, doing all that stuff. I can only be around every 7 days or 4 days, or how many wives you have. So I don't want somebody that's showing me up on my loyalty and protection skills.
And I agree with you. I think animals are superior to us in so many ways. Except for cats. Cats, they love you conditionally. Sometimes, no, I'm just kidding. But um, both. It's funny. Both of my boys became cat lovers, and both have. And my one son fosters. I think they're on their in their 50s of cats that they fostered. And my girls love the dogs, my boys love the cats, and it's amazing to watch my children. And I just think animals teach us something about love that we, and especially when you come from a society like we did where everything is so transactional. My mom has always been a huge animal lover, and I can see why, because she gets loyalty and love from those animals with no requirements back to her. And no wonder that's what I mean. One of her biggest things is Corey's very allergic to cats. Our son is very allergic to cats. We can't have animals in our house
Our
because,
youngest.
yeah, because of that. And so my mom was angry when she's like, just let me move into your house. And I'm like, you can't bring your cats. And unfortunately for her, that's a no go. But she absolutely loves those animals and they love her unconditionally. And when you come from this society, it's just so hard. What are you looking at?
Julie Reeves. That's awesome. Yep. Dogs have masters, cats have staff. So they do.
Isn't
So
that so true? That is so true. Um, oh, somebody says I was watching Emily on Jaden's channel yesterday and remembered the story about dads here hide the kids. Yep, unfortunately we did go through that. And yeah, and the animals, we had to hide the animals too, unfortunately. Um
growing up in polygamy, played a lot of hide and seek. So
unfortunately we
we
just didn't
had some
realize
skills.
we were yeah, we were hiding for our lives
Live
at
or
times.
die, hide or seek.
Yeah. And I agree with you.
Get
I don't
beat,
trust
don't
a
get
man who
beat.
doesn't like dogs. I agree with that completely. I I think it's really sad to see when I heard about that revelation. I'm like, that was not really a revelation, was it? And I was told, yeah, he literally got up in church and said, "Thus saith the Lord." I'm like, I can't. That is so beyond anything I can comprehend. That somebody can literally get up there and you wield their power of authority over someone and tell them that they can't have dogs in their house. What a joke! Oh,
Yeah, to win a fight with a wife. I thought it was, yeah. They can use tears. You bring in God. It's all over.
so bad.
Thus saith the Lord.
Yeah.
I
No.
win. So
No,
yeah.
I think it's horrible. Somebody says, "Here comes dad, hide the dry milk bugs." That's like one of my worst stories ever because it was so gross because all of us just sat there and watched my dad drink it like, "Oh gosh, that's horrible."
You're evilly thought about like
Maybe slightly, but at the same time, I'm such a germ freak that I think that overwhelmed me more than anything else. So, well, I think we're going to be wrapping up here. Corey's got to get out of
I've
here
gotta
and go
go.
show houses. But thank you guys so much for being so
amazing
in our chat today. We really appreciate that. And don't forget to follow us on all of our other channels. Notes to Self 444.
Bringing in humor and laughter into our lives. We really enjoy it and have needed it. So
Yeah.
it's amazing. So
And those of you that are in the thick of it right now,
hang in there.
hang in there. It will get better. These are only moments. They will pass. I promise you they will pass. And I remember hearing people say that to me and I'm like, go F off. It's not going to pass. But think about it. The gratitude journal, just think about what are some of the little steps you can take today to make it a little bit better tomorrow or to make it a little bit better in the next hour. Just think of those little tiny steps. Get some sunshine, put your feet on grass, hug a tree, like all of the basic things that are so basic that really do shift our energies and make us heal our insides. So
hug your headache. So
you're not my headache. Well, sometimes you are. I'll just be honest about it. Sometimes you are, but 99% of the time you're not.
I know.
So everyone have a wonderful evening and we will see you on the next one.
See you guys.